Hey guys, welcome back. We're on the forever world again. I had a little bit of technical difficulties in between recording this session and the last session. I moved over from one launcher to another, and I think something happened with uh, my user ID and the world saved. So I did lose my inventory from last time. Which is a little annoying, but I really only had like some stone tools and stuff. Like I basically already got it back, so I'm just gonna roll with what I have. If I really feel like, oh, I need to get those items back at some point, I can do that. But I don't really feel like that's super necessary right now. I think the biggest thing is some of those like relics that I had like equipped on my body. I just didn't have any way of getting those back as easily as just grabbing the tools here. So that's just what it's gonna have to be for now. But I've decided on what I want to go for as far as the style of the house. I'm wanting to go for kind of a flowery cottage. I mean, we're in these flower prairie biome, so I thought it'd be cool to just make kind of a cozy cottage vibe. I wanted to take a little peek over here, see if there was any um, wood textures that I really liked. And I could try and incorporate those into the house a little bit. These are maybe just a little too bright for what I'm thinking. I'm kind of thinking maybe a more kind of boring and traditional house to start off with. I'm open to, um, you know, adding some pops of color in there, but I want like the heart of the structure to be brown. Um, so let's just take a peek. There's nothing in here that's immediately jumping out to me. Oh, is that amethyst? Does it just grow on trees? This is cool. Okay, so there's a ravine over here. That is good to know. Oh, I apparently walked past these amethyst trees already. That's pretty cool. I do like the the leaves. I'm wondering if maybe I could incorporate some of the colorful leaves into my build, but go with the traditional kind of wood. I think I need to allocate a little bit more RAM to this installation real quick, so let me just pause and I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. I I was trying to cut down on the lag. I feel like I'm still running into a little bit. Um, So I might have to figure out why that's happening, but I can deal with that off camera next time. I kind of just want to play after the technical difficulties I was running into, um, trying to get in the world today. Like I don't feel like dealing with that anymore. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna play. Okay. So I think the primary material that I'm gonna need is some wood. So let me just figure out. I'm thinking oak. I know that's sort of boring, but I feel like I want to have this basic kind of heart of the building, and then around it there would be all these pops of color from the flowers and stuff. And I think I definitely want to add in some leaves on there. So let me get. I have a reference image on this tab. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I've got this reference image pulled up. So it's going to be a pretty rectangular build. Trying to decide if I want to have the front of the house face this direction or um, this direction. Um, I'm kind of feeling this direction because um, there can still be windows and such on this side, but the fact that this kind of faces the prairie biome here, and it just kind of gives it a better scenic view. That's kind of what's drawing me to this spot in particular. So let me just make a bunch of wood here. Um, and then I think we're gonna just like sketch out a pretty rough like rectangle. I don't want this to be huge, but I do want it to not be super tiny because if there's anything I know about this mod pack, it's that you can definitely outgrow your space pretty fast just due to um, how much there is in the game. Let's think about this for a second. I'm thinking I want to bring this out another block. Yeah, a couple blocks more. Because I want, like I said, I want a little more space. I don't want this to feel like huge, but does that give the right proportions? I'm going for, it's kind of a, it's not quite square. It's about 3 on the long side to 2 in the rough like ratio of the sizes. So I think we're gonna go with that. Let me just, before the sun sets here, let me just make like a super rough outline just so I can get a better feel of it before I go too much further. Um, and that way I can really step back and see if I like the general shape. That's fine. I'll leave that block out there. Um, I know it's not exactly super interesting, but just being a rectangle, but I have some ideas that I think are really going to bring some interest into the roof and sort of the decor on the outside. So I think by starting with these rectangles and basic materials like this, I think we're going to end up with something cool. I want to do some like accents with logs every few blocks. So I feel like we're on the right track. Let me just go sleep over here because it's getting dark. I'm currently recording this on Thanksgiving morning, so hopefully everyone's having a good holiday. I just have a little bit of chill time this morning until I go over to see family, so that's gonna be pretty fun, I think. But yeah, I was just thinking like, wow, I had a lot of fun playing on here last night, so I wanted to get back in here for another session today and see what I come up with. I'm gonna go for a little bit more of an intentional building process here. I've done this once before, but I don't want to go so far as planning things out in creative, at least not with, a smaller build like this. Maybe if I was to do something really large in the future, I could think about planning it out. Um, but just doing a little bit of planning by sort of building out a frame of, where's each floor going to be, where's the roof line going to be, and getting an overall feel for the general shape of the structure, I think sets me up nicely to, not get into it too far and then decide, oh no, I don't really like that. Now I feel like I have to commit to that choice, but it looks pretty good. We're already out of wood. I'm feeling like I like this height. I want it to feel like airy and fun. So it's going to be kind of a larger, I mean, this is definitely not a cottage anymore. Um, but I'm not really afraid of where this is headed. I think it's going to turn out well. So let's just go gather some more wood. I think I probably would be benefited by making a wooden or a stone pick, or not a pick, an axe. I don't remember where my little like dirt tunnel is. I know I should not like keep making those, but those will be easy to fill in the future. So I'm just, oh, actually, you know what? There's some right here. I know this is a little sketchy, right next to the lava, but we're gonna be dangerous here, I guess, today. Okay, That's all we need for, well, why don't I get enough to make a couple? Because I'm probably gonna have to chop. Well, uh, but yeah, what I was saying is I'm probably gonna need to make a couple. Oh, okay. That's good enough. Oh, and there's a cave. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm not really interested in going caving at the moment. I just wanted to get a little bit of a base established, and maybe we can incorporate some other materials we find down there too. But like I said, I just wanted to start by treating this as relatively vanilla. So, oops. Um, so I don't want to get too caught up in, trying to find all these various other kinds of blocks and things like that. So just want to find these basic materials, get that going. I'm not in any rush to um, get, iron or anything like that. Um, I'm comfortable with sticking to the stone tools for a little bit, just until I get like the shell of the house done. Then we can go down to the mine and figure out what we want to do down there. But for the time being, I think this is fine. Especially with like the util mine. I don't know if it's just, coming off of vanilla, but it's just so much faster. It doesn't feel like it's the slow stone tool, so that's pretty nice. I don't know. I'm guessing it's just the way that the trees spawn here, but it's kind of interesting how they're all these like shorter, almost bush-like trees. Um, I'm curious if I plant more, if there'll be, if there's something to do with the mods where they make the trees grow differently based on the biome they're in. Um, I'd be kind of curious to see what that turns out to be. Okay. And I'm thinking, I know I'm building this out of just all planks for the moment. That's just to get a rough outline of the structure, but I'm thinking I'm going to do, logs and such in the corners and try to make it feel more cabiny and cozy by like emulating that feel of beams and stuff. So this is just a maybe less visually appealing part of the process. Okay. Okay. So we've got that. Keep in mind, I did say I wanted the front door to be over here, so I'm probably gonna put that. I'm just trying to look proportionately at what I've got here. I'm thinking I want the door to be here, and I feel like a double door would be cool. If we go here, I'm sure there's just a ton of doors. I would love to get kind of I think a rounded one might look like, it's not literally going to be round, but one that kind of emulates that with the style. Not sure. Is that just what a heavy door looks like? There's so many options. Um, oh, it's from Chipped. Yeah, so Chipped is a building mod that allows you to customize like the texture on blocks and just get really fine grained detail on all of the building stuff. Um, okay, I'm just gonna rough out the doorway like this for now. Um, that looks fine, I think. I'm thinking maybe whenever I do make the door, even if the doors are square, like it'd be cool to kind of have like a rounded vibe by using some stairs there to kind of round out that opening. Let's see, how do I feel about this? I'm thinking that this won't necessarily be a window. I don't like the idea of this like really just short, stubby window. I might cover this up with like some plants and stuff. But I think that's a good proportion as far as the that goes. Okay, so I'm looking at my reference. Um, there's kind of this big window to the right of the door, and then there's this cool little like um, I guess I don't know what you'd call it, maybe like a nook or something, but it's kind of got a little bit of like a rounded feel to it. So I'm trying to, yeah, let's bring this out a little bit. Um, see what that looks like. So something like this. And then I'm gonna have to emulate that up above with, okay. See, how do we want to approach this? I'm kind of feeling like this can go like that, can be brought out that way. And then for up above, gotta go diagonal. And diagonal again. Let me just fix these. I think that this does add some visual interest by having this little rounded thing. Maybe it'll look weird. I think I just got to trust the process a little bit and see what I figure out because I think it could look cool. Um, and then yeah, kind of it brings out like this cool viewing port idea. I don't know what I'll fill this in with. Um, I'm curious if there are window blocks. Okay, there are. Oh yeah, something like this I think would be exactly the kind of window I'm actually thinking. Those are all from Create, which is that's an interesting mod. There's like lots of these little machines you can make, which I think is pretty cool. Let me take a peek here. I just want to make sure I'm still recording. But okay, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and leave that beam here because I think we'll probably replace that with logs at some point, but that's how that's gonna look. I'm gonna go sleep and then the grind continues with tree farming. So we'll have to get that figured out. Definitely noticing a little dip in performance as far as a little bit of stuttering goes this time. I'm not sure why that's happening. I did up the RAM. I don't know if some of the visual settings changed from one launcher to the other. I wouldn't think so. Um, Let me actually just take a peek because I'm curious if we could just take it down just a little bit. Quality. Let's take it. Okay. I guess fancy is kind of where we want it to be. What is if I click fast, what does that do? Is it just gonna what do we look like out here? This looks the same. We'll see if I notice any performance differences. I'm curious if I will or not, but it's whatever. We'll take a peek at what it looks like in the day and then go from there. Okay, it still looks fine. I don't know. I'm definitely not one of those people that gets too wrapped up in like how many frames is this running at or whatever. Like if it starts to feel janky, then I'll like actually care a little bit, but I don't really care about it just seeing a specific number like, oh my gosh, I got 200 frames or whatever. Like, I don't know. I don't really care. Okay. So I'm taking another peek at the reference and I'd like to figure out the slope of the roof, but I think to do that, actually, we do have enough stuff. Trying to think what. that's gonna look like. Hmm. Might be worth grabbing a little bit of dirt. Yeah, that's the other thing I did lose when I brought over my or I didn't bring over my inventory from this uh world. Um, I did lose all that dirt we picked up. I just want a little bit of dirt to use as some cheap scaffolding here at the beginning. Um, I think that's gonna look cool. Maybe it'll look wacky, but let's give it a shot and see what's going on here. I'm gonna do this. Cool. Okay. So I know you guys can't see my reference image, but that's fine. I'm trying to, it's going to be a little bit of a taller sloped roof. So let me find the center point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 14. Okay, so I did choose an even number, which 5, 6, 7, which perhaps that was a mistake. That's okay. I think it'll be okay. So I'm just building this tower up here just to see. Okay, that's not going to be tall enough. We're going to need like at least maybe even like 3 more blocks. It's going to have like a pretty tall, steep fantasy style roof. So I want to see what that looks like. Okay, okay. Let's take a peek here. Um, Trying to just envision this. It's going to be like a triangular roof. I think this could even honestly go up like another block or two. I want the upstairs to be like a usable space, and maybe there's even like an attic kind of in the middle because it's going to be this triangular shape. I just want to make sure I get that shape down. I feel like that's the right height. Looking at my reference image, that's what we're going to go with. As far as the actual slope, let's see how many tall this is. That's 1, 2, 3. Oh, I count. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8 tall, and then across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 by 8. Dude, we're having to do some slope math. If anyone's got their algebra skills from middle school, feel free to bring those out at any point. But we're gonna need to go up like 1.1 1 1/3 blocks. Am I 8/6? That makes sense. Hmm. We'll see how this looks. I'm probably gonna make some poor design choices, but maybe what I'll do is I'll go. Maybe this is gonna look weird. But I'll go over one. That's another thing. You can place like right above and around on blocks, which is super helpful. See how just when I put my crosshair on the edge of the block, those arrows appear, and I can kind of build around that. Yeah, that could work. And then let's see, can I trigger it this way? I know there's a way to do it. No, that's not what I want to do. That's fine. This is still pretty good. Whoops. Probably could have just built that from the outside. I think this is gonna look cool though. So yeah, we'll go up 1, up 2, up 1, up 2. And then if I did my math, I know that's gonna be 1.5. I'm thinking that that slope might be a little off, but we'll see where we get, and we can always kind of like, well, I'm just trying to think. So that's up 2, up 1. I think that'll work actually, just because it's even and how I how I did it. It's starting to make sense to me. I want to get a little more dirt. Um, let's see here. Oh no, one of our saplings. I struck it down before its time. Um, I should probably just use this and I don't want to like destroy the land, but I definitely do need to start harvesting some dirt. So maybe there's a place that I won't necessarily see all the time or needs a little terraforming. We'll just knock this hill down a little bit, see what happens. Oh, what did I just do? Did I just Ah, you're right. Okay, so I did this shapeless thing. So that's how you can get like really a lot of material fast, which is super nice. So like we have more than enough dirt right now. So that's pretty cool. I think this is going to turn out maybe a little differently than I had envisioned, but that's just the reality I think of building stuff like this is it never quite looks exactly how you intend, but that's a little bit of the magic, I would say. That's I shouldn't have put that there. That should have been on the next one. I knew there was a reason that was there, um, but that's fine. Okay, and so that was two. This is one. This should be. Wait a second. No, that's not right. Am I crazy right now? I feel like I have. It's better to just check this twice. What is? Okay, yeah. So that's up one. That's a jump of two. That's jump of one. So this should be two. So that's two. And then we'll bring this over one, bring it up. Whoops, that is not what I meant to do. And then up two. And I can always smooth this out with stairs and stuff like that. I'm just trying to get like a real rough like feel for the slope of the roof. I know this is tall and it feels tall. I feel like maybe I don't love that. I'm just staring right into the sun, which makes it harder to see. Um, it's almost like I want to bring it out like a block, if that makes sense. Well, actually, I think that is what I want to do. Like bring it out, like shift this whole thing like up and out one block maybe, because then I'll have this little bit of overhang right here. Um, okay, it got pretty dark. Let's take a peek here. We're just gonna have to backtrack on some of our effort here, but that's kind of, I feel like how design goes. It's a push and pull where you just, you know, have to try things, be like, no, I don't necessarily love that, and then pull back a little bit. So let me go sleep because I don't like how dark it is all of a sudden. I don't know if it's just a storm or if it's also turning tonight or what's going on. Let's see here. Okay. we're just gonna let that storm hopefully pass us by. It's kind of cool we can see the house on the map now. I think that that idea is cool, where I've got it like out like this. Is there teleporting? I'm not going to use that. I've had that on in a server before, and it's cool. It's really helpful, but it, oh my, okay, double rainbow. That's pretty neat. Um, but I just didn't like that with the teleporting. It feels like I was teleporting rather than walking like literally anywhere. Like getting, going up a flight of stairs like in the game, I would literally just teleport because that was faster, and that's not really the pace of play and style I'm going for. I'm trying to just, like I said, treat this as a little bit of a relaxing exercise. So it's not about getting to any particular place fast. Why am I just losing frames so bad? This feels like when I was running mods on my mom's laptop when I was like 10. Um, those things could not handle it. Okay, so that's up one. We'll go up two, up one. Yes, yeah, up two, up one, up two. Yes, I do see that creeper, which I'm not a big fan of that guy. Probably gonna have to lead him out of here. Hopefully not lag in the process. Okay. Okay, can you spot me? Let's go away. I kind of like the creeper texture in this pack. It's fun. Oh, don't blow up. I like that you can see the purple, like the explosion just welling up inside of them a little bit more than, there we go. Okay, interesting. Um, okay. Let's take a peek. It's gonna be hard, I know, to get like a feel for that exactly. I think that's gonna be good. I don't know why I didn't bring it up. I'm probably gonna bring it up to like one higher, right? Like right there. But I do think that that is the right feel. I'm gonna have like lots of texture and design up on the top. So I think it's gonna be cool. We're gonna rock with that. Um, but I think for now I need to focus on getting wood. I just don't have enough wood. Also, there's this slot in your inventory you can just trash things. I'm doing that because I don't care about all these seeds and stuff right now. Um, I maybe I'll regret that in the future, but I need to clear some space in my inventory. Okay. Yeah, let me gather some more wood here. Trying to think like, oh, okay, no, that's shapeless. That's what we want. Um, I want to find trees that are more than just 2 blocks tall. There we go. There's some of our own trees we planted. So I guess that answers the question of whether or not these spawn. Well, I think they were generated by the world that way, but maybe, when you plant them, they don't respawn that way. Um, let's see here. We're just gonna get all of that, all of those seeds right back. Okay, I don't know where that gravity 24%. Oh, I can like jump a little higher now. I wonder if I could jump over a fence block because it said it reduces gravity by 24%, and I thought those were like 1.2 blocks tall or something like that. In however the game calculates it. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but let's go ahead and replant all our stuff here because we're gonna need more wood. I definitely don't want to like make the feel of the area a lot different by bringing in all these like taller trees because I do like the kind of bushy and like highly textured area. So we'll we'll just have these for sort of farming purposes. Maybe eventually we'll push like make our own like little um, oak forest over here or something. But for now, I'll let it grow here right next to the house and we'll just go from there, I guess. Okay, okay. I think I know I was talking about this last time. I do want a horse. So that could be a goal after the house gets, at least roughed out. My plan is, rough out the frame to maybe I don't know if I'll realistically frame out the whole thing today. I might have to spread that over another play session, but I want to just get like a frame of the house, get like walls up and stuff. Just get like the shell of it essentially, just so I have, and then move stuff over from like the initial hut, um, which I think will be cool to leave there. I have some ideas on what I want to do with it maybe in the future, but for now I just want to leave it alone, see what happens. And then on this side in my reference image, I have another one of those. I don't know what it's called, but whatever I did over there with the where you round it out and bring it out a little bit. Um, yeah, there's one of them over here as well. So that's centered, and I think that'll be cool. Let me just do that. I feel like this is the same size too, which I think brings some semblance of like symmetry out in the design, which is kind of what I'm going for. Or no, it's smaller. Hmm, how do I feel about that? You'd think that maybe on the side of the house it would be bigger because that side takes up more. Should this be smaller? I know that the proportions of this house are they're going to be a little weird, but I think this is probably worth being like, I guess it would have to be significantly larger, but that's okay. I like the idea of these like sort of bubbles coming out of the frame of the house. It breaks up that super rectangular shape that I was talking about earlier, which I think will be good because I want this to feel like even though we're limited to, only building using squares, I think that it produces more creative results when you are sort of limited in that way. And by bringing out these little bits of roundness, I think that we're gonna have more visual interest. So let me bring these out. Yeah, I think that making that a little bigger was the right choice, especially with the scope of. So, like, I'm noticing that my initial rectangle was a little bit different proportioned, I think, than the reference image. Like this floor could have been maybe 1 block higher or something. But I like the way this is turning out. It's different, and that's fine. Something that's kind of cool. I know in my reference image, this has like its own little like tiny roof. But maybe it'd be cool to make one of them into like a little patio area or something like that. I'm not really sure what that's gonna look like, but it would be kind of cool, I think. It's probably in my interest to just bring my bed over here, because I mean I don't feel like I have a lot of reason to keep going over there. I mean, I really don't have anything in there. So the reference image I'm using is taken from like this side of the house. So I'm gonna have to use my imagination a little bit to figure out how I want the other sides of the house to look. I think I do want those to be, I don't want a rounded bit like this on every part of the house. It would be nice, I think, to have some visual interest over there. I'm not sure how or what that's going to look like. Um, it might be kind of cool if on this side, like I did bring something out, but I had sort of like an awning, maybe with some, yeah, bring that out a little bit. I think that's what I'm gonna try and do. We'll see what that looks like, but I have to decide on what I want the roof to be made of. I know I want it to be a contrasting color in some way. Um, I might have to play around with the color wheel a little bit and decide what the palette I'm going for is gonna be. Because I think that's something I've seen and you know, I enjoy watching people talk about their design process. Not just in Minecraft, but in Minecraft in particular, it seems like just like any other art, you have to kind of pick your color palette, and planning is just as important here as I think any other creative endeavor. Like it's definitely worth it to spend the time and plan a little bit because you end up with results that you're a lot happier with in the long run, even if you have a little bit more of that like setup work and cost. But I think that's worth it. I'm gonna just leave this wall alone for now, because I don't think it's something that I'm gonna have to worry about immediately. Let me finish. So I'm gonna finish the rough outline of the roof on both sides, and then there's I forget what it's called, but on the second floor there's like gonna be another little window and like its own little tiny roof. So I just want to get a feel for the side profile before I place um, that little part on the roof. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a technical name for that. I just do not know what that is. I don't think a gable is correct. I think that's a different thing. I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest. But that's fine. Okay, so bring this out. Then we go up one, up two. Just keep alternating. Did I get off on one? Let me make sure that this is lined up. It is very possible that I can't count. Because it goes one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. I think that looks right. I I know I said this, but like I'm constantly doing these checks on with my roof line because it's too easy to mess that up. Um, let's see here. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Oh my gosh, I said the thing. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay. Um, let's go up here. Okay, one. Oh, I almost fell, but the power of shift helped me out. Okay. One, and then two, and then one. How did I feel like I'm way off base here. Maybe not. Let's Oh my gosh. I think I did it. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. You'll have to ignore that that's not symmetrical. I'm not looking at this inner outline. I'm looking at the outer one because I think that's correct. That gives me a lot better feel to see like both sides of it. So let me go do that over here as well. Um, I know I'm probably going to replace that with some other material, but I'm not going to worry about doing that yet because I'm not actually going to fill in these whole things. I just want to frame this out today, and then I'll decide on a more intentional block palette and go from there. Because I don't want to, you know, just decide to use materials I have at the moment and hope that that's amazing. I know I said I want to focus on vanilla materials, but if there's something around here that I think would fit, and it looks like there is because there's a lot of color options around me, I'm going to give that a shot. Okay, what is this? That's two. You see how fast I lose my train of thought because I'm thinking about 10 million other things at the same time. Okay, bam. Let's take a peek. Oops. Okay, that's already going down there anyway. Okay, let's take a. I think that looks good. I think this is gonna look cool. I'm I'm kind of feeling this at least this initial build area. I want it to have a very like fantastical feel, and um, I think this is going to be pretty cool. Let's think about where that little raised roof area is going to be. It's pretty centered. Um, Trying to think. I'm feeling like right here could be good for that. Like make it. Trying to decide how big I'd want to make that. I'd probably make it the same width, like, or have the window be like 3 wide or whatever, and then that's what I think I'm gonna do. Um, Let me just decide where, how far in. It's pretty much even, actually, with this basic line of the frame. So why don't I just start adding on to that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Um, and then let's see, how tall is this? It's probably 3 blocks tall. Um, Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Um, hmm. I think 3 is going to be good. And then we can have some window stuff happening, which I know is not descriptive, but that's just how it's going to be. What are we looking at here? Just trying to figure out where are we with this. And then I don't want it to feel too tall. I guess I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, essentially, is the problem. Yeah, maybe we bring it up one more block, because the window we don't want to be like, because this is where the floor of the other floor is going to be, so we'd probably want to bring that up one, which I think is going to be good because that's going to shift um, how much this is gonna stick out of the rest of the roof just a little better. So I know this is just super, super simple, but let's try just like a 45-degree roof here. Um, maybe we'll add, eaves to either side of it. I think I feel like I'm getting the vision a little bit more now. Let me bring out a block on each side here just to, oops, I can't do parkour, you guys. It's my weakness. Do I want it here? I do want it there. That's exactly what I want to do. Okay, cool. I think this is gonna have a really cool feel. Um, let's go over here. Um, let's think about this. There, I think is the same. Yeah. Okay. Let me just break this. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Whoops, I forgot it was connected to the ground. Well, now we know there's cinnabar under the house. Well, I sort of blocked myself in here. I don't want to be buried alive. Let's see here. I know I keep saying it, but I really should move my bed over here. I'm gonna sleep and then I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna come back and frame up the house. I just want to see how long we've been recording. Okay, about 50 minutes. Cool. Let's see. I'm shooting for roughly an hour on these videos. Like, it doesn't have to be exact. Um, and some days it won't be, you know, it won't be a full hour, and sometimes it might be longer. You'd have to let me too. I don't know if you guys are interested in like live streaming this or watching this live, I should say. Um, I think that could be kind of fun. I played around with it. I figured out how to get OBS to stream for me, so I know how to now. But I'm not sure if that's something you guys would be interested in. Okay, yeah, that's looking really cool now. I'm starting to see it really come together. I think it might be worth looking at a couple other reference images to see some ideas for what I want to do on the back here, because on the back I've already got that idea with this sort of like awning thing. Maybe we bring out like a little roof that's, you know, goes out to maybe here or something, and then we've got, maybe we tie up the horse or something out here. We have like a little mini stable. That could be kind of neat. Um, but as far as what I want on the back here, I don't know. Um, maybe it would be cool to have this like open feel with, maybe I'll just kind of leave this as a more plain side, with maybe a wider doorway that leads out into more of like a garden area kind of behind. Like, I know this is all a garden, but I thought it'd be cool to have like a tall, like hedged in area. Um, so maybe I'll do that. Let me think about this. What would this I've got to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I can't. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, cool. It is odd. I just wanted to double check. Okay, 3, 6, 8, 9. What is half of 21? That's 10 plus 1. So I 3, 6, 9, 10. So this is the middle. And then I think I want, is that really the middle? I don't think I can count correctly. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21. It is correct. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 10. Oh, it was here. Here is the center. I was off by one. I forgot. Okay, that makes sense. And then as far as the opening for this, I think like 3 blocks wide, because this is gonna be gated in or or something. I want this all to have like an open feel, like I said. So um, maybe we do something like that on the back, and then that'll also leave me, more than one exit. And then for the roof, I don't want it to feel too busy. So I think we'll just have maybe we'll have the chimneys coming out on this side on the roof. I think that could be cool. Where would those go? I think that's probably something worth thinking about. Um, I think that that's something that I can plan a little later, but I feel like for now we're in a really good spot where I have a good feel for what the house is going to become. Um, I just need to decide on some block palettes. I'm thinking right now that we have a lot of these. Let's look at like what are all our oak objects? I'm sure there's just going to be a ton. Um, let's see. What I'm thinking is I'm gonna definitely add in some stripped oak log in addition, like mixed in with the planks, because I think that will um, add some nice texture. And then maybe dark oak wood would look good for the highlights on sort of those accent pieces. And then I do want sort of the other color to be green. I want to incorporate a lot of these flowers and greenery into the build. So I'm thinking this tan and like kind of that oaky green thing in addition to these pops of pink. I'm wondering if some sort of like copper like doors and things like that could give it kind of that reddish pop of color. Let's just see what other stuff is in here. I'm just curious. There's so many things. Okay. Yeah, some. What is this? Ooh, that's cool. See, I could add a lot of really interesting texture um, using chipped, and it can have that same color palette, but it has all this really interesting texture, and I think that's going to take the build to another level. So it might be worth doing the chipped stuff and figuring out how that works. Um, because I think that that's going to bring a lot of really cool visual interest. So I think we're going to call it here for now, but thanks again for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying this series. I know I'm having a lot of fun with it, so I just want to keep this going. But if you have any ideas on what you want to see me build or work into this world or try to create as like a goal, I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say on that. So thanks again for watching, and I will just catch you guys next time.